You don't build a better life by waiting. You build it by choosing better habits one day at a time. And that starts now. Most people go through their days on autopilot. They wake up tired. They open their phones before they even breathe. They jump from distraction to distraction, wondering why their minds feel scattered, foggy, unfocused. They feel stuck not because they lack potential, but because their habits keep pulling them back into the same loops, the same thoughts, the same emotions, the same identity. If your mindset feels heavy, it's not because something is wrong with you. It's because your daily behaviors are wiring your brain to stay where you are. Every habit you repeat is a signal. Every routine you follow is a message. Every decision you make is a vote for the person you become. That's why this matters. That's why these next minutes can shift the direction of your life. Not through magic, through mastery. The truth is simple. Your life changes the moment your habits change. Not when you feel motivated, not when you get lucky, not when circumstances align, but when your daily choices finally start matching the future you say you want. If you've been feeling mentally drained, unfocused, overwhelmed, or easily discouraged, you're not broken. You're simply running mental programs that no longer serve you. Old patterns, old reactions, old beliefs. But the beautiful thing about the brain is this: it is rewritable. It is adaptable. It is waiting for new instructions. Your habits are those instructions. Every time you choose to move your body instead of scrolling, you rewrite a neural pathway. Every time you choose to finish something instead of abandoning it, you reinforce self-trust. Every time you choose silence over chaos, you strengthen clarity. Every time you choose discomfort over avoidance, you build resilience. And every time you choose a small act of growth, your mind expands its capacity to think, act, and respond differently. This audio is not entertainment. It's training, it's repetition, it's structure. And structure is what transforms you. Because motivation fades, hype disappears, feelings fluctuate. But habits shape your identity. If you give me the next 90 minutes, I will give you 10 habits that can rewire your mindset from the inside out. 10 habits that cut through mental noise. 10 habits that rebuild focus, sharpen clarity, restore discipline, lift your energy, and reset the way you see yourself. Each habit is simple, practical, actionable, not theories, not philosophy. Just daily practices that recondition your brain to think stronger, feel lighter, and move forward with confidence. Before we begin, I want you to picture something. Your future self 1 year from now. Not the idealized, perfect version. Just the version of you who stayed consistent. The you who didn't quit on day 3. The you who kept showing up, even when it was boring, even when it was slow, even when no one noticed. What would that version of you look like? How would they think? How would they carry themselves? How would they respond to stress, distraction, fear, insecurity, or doubt? Because the gap between who you are and who you want to be is built on habits. Brick by brick, day by day, decision by decision. Most people never change because they underestimate the power of small actions. They believe big transformation needs big effort, huge sacrifices, dramatic changes. But the truth is the opposite. Your brain changes through repetition, through consistency, through the small things you do every day, even if they feel insignificant in the moment. 1 glass of water doesn't change your health, but a daily hydration habit rewires your system. One focused morning doesn't transform your mind, but a daily intention ritual rewires your focus. One walk doesn't shift your energy, but moving your body daily rewires your mood. 1 minute of reflection doesn't create clarity, but journaling each night rewires your awareness. This is how your mindset rewires itself slowly, steadily, silently beneath the surface. The roots grow long before the branches appear. The foundation strengthens long before the results show. And if you can accept that truth, not fight it, not rush it, not resent it, you can change anything. In this training, you won't be asked to do impossible things. You won't be asked to be perfect. You won't be asked to change your whole life overnight, but you will be asked to choose, to commit, to show up, and to follow through. We will move through 10 habits, each one chosen because it trains a different part of your mindset. Focus, discipline, self, rust, energy, clarity, resilience, awareness, learning, boundaries, consistency. Each habit is a small shift with a massive psychological return. Each one can be added to your day in minutes, and each one can create a noticeable difference in how you think, how you feel, and how you respond to the world around you. This is the blueprint for a stronger mind, a sharper mind, a calmer mind, a mind that works with you, not against you. As you listen, don't just absorb the words. Imagine yourself practicing them. Imagine how your days would feel with these habits in place. Imagine your confidence growing as your discipline strengthens. Imagine your stress shrinking as your clarity expands. Imagine your mindset rewiring itself into something steadier, cleaner, more powerful. Because the truth is this, your mindset isn't fixed. Your patterns aren't permanent. Your story isn't locked. It can all be rewritten. And it starts with your habits. So, take a breath, sit up, listen with intention, and get ready for the first habit. Your new mindset begins now. Chapter 1. Start your morning with intention. Most people begin their mornings the same way they ended the night. Rushed, distracted, reactive, and exhausted. They wake up already behind, already anxious, already mentally cluttered. Their minds don't rise with purpose. They rise into chaos, and that chaos becomes the operating system for the entire day. A morning without intention creates a mind without direction. A morning without structure creates a mind without clarity. A morning without ownership creates a mind that spends the whole day catching up instead of leading. This is the truth you must understand if you want to rewire your mindset. Your morning is the first vote you cast for who you are becoming. The moment you open your eyes, you're teaching your mind what kind of day it should expect. You are sending signals, signals of urgency or signals of calm, signals of distraction or signals of focus, signals of stagnation or signals of growth. If you start your day unconsciously, you will live unconsciously. If you start your day intentionally, you will live intentionally. This is not about having the perfect morning routine. This is not about waking up at 4:30 a.m. or following some unrealistic checklist you found on a productivity blog. This is about something far more powerful and far more sustainable. Designing the first moments of your day so your brain knows you're in charge. Let's be honest, most people lose the day before the day even begins. They grab their phone before they even breathe. They scroll through notifications before they sit up. They check messages before they check on themselves. Their mind gets hijacked by comparison, urgency, noise, and stress. And without realizing it, They've already given their power away. This is the pain. A reactive morning creates a reactive mind. A reactive mind creates reactive choices, and reactive choices keep you stuck in the same emotional patterns for years. You know this pattern well. You've lived it. You felt it. Those mornings where you wake up late, grab your phone, rush around, skip intention, and then wonder why your mind feels cloudy, unstable, or irritated by noon. You didn't do anything wrong. Your brain just followed the first pattern you gave it. And if you want a different life, you must give it a different pattern. Here is the core truth of this habit. Your mornings train your mind for the rest of the day. You set your priorities. You set your emotional tone. You set your mental clarity. You set your level of discipline. You set your resilience. Not by thinking, not by hoping, but by action. When you start your morning with intention, you tell your brain, we choose clarity today. We choose focus today. We choose control today. We choose growth today. So what does an intentional morning actually look like? Not perfection. Not discipline forced on you by guilt. Not a ritual you can't maintain. Instead, think of it as a simple, repeatable system, one that takes only a few minutes but rewires your mindset for the entire day. Let's break it down. Step 1. Before anything else, breathe and notice. Don't rush. Don't react. Let your mind come online slowly with presence. This moment teaches your brain something important. I choose awareness before action. Even 5 quiet breaths are enough. You are not your notifications. You're not your obligations. You are not your stress. You are a mind choosing its first move. This is the foundation. Step 2. Drink water and wake the body. Your brain thrives on hydration. Your energy depends on it. Most people feel morning anxiety simply because their brain is dehydrated and overstimulated. 1 glass of water, 1 stretch, 1 conscious inhale. This signals to your nervous system. We begin the day by caring for the vessel that carries us. You sharpen your thinking by resetting your physiology. This is the fastest way to get ahead of your emotions. Step 3. Set 1 clear intention for the day. Not 10, not 5. 1. Write it, say it, hold it. This is your mental anchor. Maybe your intention is focus. Maybe it is patience. Maybe it is discipline. Maybe it is calm. Maybe it is progress. But choose 1 and let that single intention serve as the compass that guides your decisions, reactions, and energy for the next 24 hours. Your brain loves clarity. It performs better when it knows what matters. This one practice alone can change your entire relationship with the day. Step 4. Protect your attention in the first 20 minutes. Your phone is not the enemy, but your lack of boundaries is. If you let the world in before you let your mind wake up, you lose ownership of your day. You become reactive instead of proactive. You begin to think about other people's goals instead of your own. Give yourself 20 minutes apiece. No social media. No inbox. No comparing your life to strangers. No jumping into the chaos. This is your time, your space, your reset. Protect it like your mindset depends on it, because it does. Step 5. Move your body even for 1 minute. You don't need a workout. You don't need a gym. You don't need an hour. You need movement. Movement wakes up your brain. Movement sharpens your focus. Movement stabilizes your mood. Movement signals to your mind that you're ready to engage with the world, not hide from it. This can be stretching, walking, breathing deeply, rolling your shoulders, or stepping outside into fresh air. Just move. your mind follows your body. Why? This habit rewires your mindset. Because it changes the direction of your attention. Because it interrupts your old patterns. Because it shifts your identity from passive to active. Because it teaches your brain a new sequence of signals. You stop waking up to the world. You start waking up to yourself. Instead of reacting, you begin choosing. Instead of scrambling, you begin leading. Instead of drifting, you begin deciding. Instead of feeling overwhelmed, you begin feeling grounded. This is how new neural pathways form, through consistent, meaningful microactions. And the best part, you don't need perfection. You just need practice. If you miss a day, you begin again. If you wake up late, you still claim one moment of intention. If you fall back into old patterns, you breathe and return. Your goal is not to impress anyone. Your goal is to rewire your brain, and your brain rewires through repetition. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. When you start your mornings with intention, you become someone who directs your day instead of being dragged by it. You become someone who values clarity over chaos. You become someone who acts instead of reacts. You become someone who listens to their own mind before the world interrupts it. You become someone trustworthy to yourself. And that trust is the foundation of discipline. Discipline is the foundation of consistency. Consistency is the foundation of identity. Identity is the foundation of transformation. This is why this habit matters so much. It is the first brick in who you are building. Begin with intention. Say it softly. Say it clearly. Say it every morning until your mind believes it. Now that you know how to claim your morning, the next habit will teach you how to protect the single most valuable resource you have, your focus. When your focus sharpens, your entire life sharpens with it. Let's begin. Chapter 2. Protect your focus. Focus is the currency of your life. Every dream you chase, every habit you build, every part of your mindset you're trying to rewire, it all depends on your ability to focus. Because without focus, even the strongest intentions fall apart. Without focus, even the smartest plans collapse. Without focus, your mind becomes a battlefield where every notification, every distraction, every thought, and every craving fights for control. Most people never lose to lack of ability. They lose to lack of focus. You can have ambition. You can have talent. You can have motivation. You can have good intentions. But if you can't direct your attention, none of it will matter. Attention is what turns potential into progress. And this is why protecting your focus is one of the most powerful habits you can build to rewire your mindset. To understand why this habit matters, first you have to face the real pain. Your attention is being stolen every hour, every minute, every morning, every night. The world is louder than it has ever been. Everything is designed to pull at your mind. Apps, messages, updates, ads, alerts, noise, urgency, expectations. You wake up and the world is already asking for pieces of you. You check your phone for just 1 second and 30 minutes disappear. You open a message just to reply quickly and suddenly your mind is pulled in 5 directions. You scroll for a quick break and suddenly your entire afternoon feels heavy, unproductive, and scattered. This is the pain. A distracted mind becomes a defeated mind. And a defeated mind cannot build a strong, focused, resilient life. The truth that most people ignore is this. Focus isn't something you find. It's something you protect. You don't discover focus accidentally. You don't stumble into focus by luck. You create space for it. You guard it. You design your environment to support it. You train your mind to return to it over and over again. Focus is not a personality trait. Focus is a boundary. And if you want to rewire your mindset, you must build a life where your attention is not constantly under attack. Think about your days. Think about how often your mind gets pulled away from what you actually want to do. Think about how many minutes you lose checking, switching, bouncing, refreshing, scrolling, responding, and reacting. Each small distraction may feel harmless, but they come with a heavy price. Every distraction breaks your mental rhythm, and your brain takes time to recover. Far more time than you realize. This is why you feel tired, even when you haven't done much. This is why your thoughts feel foggy, even when you slept well. This is why you feel behind, even when you started early. This is why your mind feels unfocused, even when you want to be productive. Your brain is not broken. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. You're simply overexposed to noise and underprotected from it. So, how do you take back your focus? By building a simple system that makes distractions powerless and makes your attention powerful again. Let's break it down into practical, repeatable steps. Step 1. Turn off non-essential notifications. You don't realize how many times a day your phone steals your attention. Alerts, buzzes, plop-ups, plings. Each one slices your focus, even if you don't open it. Your brain is wired to respond to novelty. Every ping feels urgent. Every flash feels important. Every vibration feels like a demand. But 99% of these notifications are nothing more than digital noise designed to train your brain to be reactive instead of intentional. Turn them off. All of them except what truly matters. Your mind deserves quiet. When your phone gets quieter, your brain gets stronger. Step 2. Create one daily focus block. Just one, not a full day, not a full morning, not a complicated schedule. One protected block where you work without interruptions. 25 minutes, 45 minutes, 60 minutes. Whatever you can handle. A block where you step completely into the task, into the moment, into the flow. This is not about productivity. This is about identity. You're proving to your brain, we can stay with one thing, we can finish, we can follow through. Focus is a muscle, and this is how you train it. Step 3. Clean your environment before you clean your mind. You can't focus in a cluttered space. Your brain interprets visual mess as cognitive load. Every object, every item, every random thing you can see competes for your attention. You may not notice it consciously, but your brain feels it. So, take 1 minute, just one. Clear the desk. Remove what isn't needed. Set the scene for clarity. A clean environment is not just aesthetics. It is psychological strategy. When your space is calm, your mind is calm. When your mind is calm, your focus strengthens. Step 4. Protect your mornings. Your strongest focus lives in the morning. Before the world has a chance to distract you, before your mind gets tired, before demands start pulling you in 10 directions. Don't give your freshest mind to your phone. Don't give your clarity to noise. Don't give your first energy to distraction. Give your morning focus to yourself, to your growth, to your goals. This single shift can change the entire architecture of your day. Step 5. Practice the art of monotasking. Your brain is not designed for multitasking. Every time you switch tasks, you lose mental energy and clarity. Monotasking is simple. Do one thing. Finish one thing. respect one thing. Your brain will thank you for it. Your work will get better. Your thoughts will get clearer. Your stress will drop. Your discipline will rise. Doing one thing fully is far more powerful than doing 5 things halfway. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because focus is the foundation of mental strength. When you protect your focus, you strengthen your discipline. When you strengthen your discipline, you reinforce your identity. When you reinforce your identity, you transform your mindset. Every time you choose to focus, you are teaching your brain how to stay with discomfort, how to resist impulse, how to ignore noise, and how to trust your own direction. Focus makes you calmer. Focus makes you clearer. Focus makes you more resilient. Focus makes you less reactive. Focus makes you feel capable again. You cannot build a powerful mind with scattered attention. You cannot build new habits with distracted energy. You cannot rewire your mindset if you lose the battle for your attention every single day. Protecting your focus is how you take your power back. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who doesn't get pulled around by noise. Someone who sets boundaries without guilt. Someone who works deeply and completes what they start. Someone who doesn't need chaos to feel stimulated. Someone whose mind feels sharp, clean, and steady. Someone who respects their time and gets respected in return. Focus is more than a habit. It's a form of self-respect. Guard your focus. Simple, strong, non-negotiable. Say it again. Guard your focus. Guard your mind. Guard your path. Now that you have claimed your morning and protected your focus, the next habit will challenge you to do something uncomfortable. Something that builds resilience, discipline, and mental toughness at a level few people ever reach. It's time to embrace discomfort on purpose. Let's move to Chapter 3. Chapter 3. Do one hard thing daily. There is a part of your mind that only grows when you choose discomfort, a part that remains dormant when life is too easy, too predictable, too convenient. A part that is responsible for resilience, discipline, confidence, mental toughness, identity, strength, and emotional stability. Most people never meet that part of themselves, not because they lack strength, but because they avoid the very discomfort that would reveal it. This is why doing one hard thing daily is one of the most transformative habits you can build. It's not about suffering. It's not about forcing pain. It's not about punishing yourself. It's about training your nervous system to stay steady when things get uncomfortable, because discomfort is the doorway to every meaningful upgrade in your life. When you avoid discomfort, you reinforce the belief that you are fragile. When you face discomfort, you reinforce the belief that you are capable. This is the difference between a mindset that breaks easily and a mindset that bends, adapts, and grows stronger with every challenge. But before we dive into how to build this habit, we need to start with the pain, the reality most people live with but rarely acknowledge. Most people design their lives around comfort. They wake up and avoid the cold. They avoid hard conversations. They avoid exercise. They avoid challenges, risks, opportunities that feel intimidating. They avoid tasks that demand mental effort. They avoid anything that doesn't feel immediately rewarding, pleasant, or easy. Every time they avoid discomfort, their brain learns a damaging lesson. I can't handle this. Let's escape. And over time, this becomes automatic. Avoidance becomes their identity. Comfort becomes their prison, and their world becomes smaller, weaker. But here is the truth. Comfort kills growth. Not because comfort is bad, but because it trains your mind to associate ease with safety and effort with danger. You rewire your mindset by reversing that association. When you purposely do something uncomfortable, something slightly hard, slightly challenging, you send a powerful message to your brain. I can handle more than I thought. I am not here to hide. I can walk toward discomfort instead of away from it. That message is the beginning of strength. Doing one hard thing daily doesn't mean climbing mountains or doing extreme challenges. It means choosing one small thing that stretches you just a little more than yesterday. Something that builds tolerance. Something that builds discipline. Something that builds mental stability. Let's break this habit down into simple practical steps. Step 1. Identify one hard thing in your day. A hard thing isn't necessarily dramatic. It isn't something that breaks you. It's something that grows you. It can be physical, emotional, mental, or practical. Taking a cold shower for 30 seconds. Going for a walk when you don't feel like it. Starting a task you've been avoiding. Finishing something you've procrastinated for weeks. Having a difficult conversation you keep postponing. Waking up without hitting snooze. Turning off your phone for 30 minutes. Saying no when you usually say yes. Reading instead of scrolling. Sitting in silence for 5 minutes instead of escaping into noise. The goal is not to suffer. The goal is to stretch. Your discomfort threshold rises when you choose challenges instead of being ambushed by them. Step 2. Do the hard thing first when possible. When you delay the hard thing, your stress grows, your anxiety grows, your resistance grows, your excuses multiply, your mind gets heavier. But when you face the hard thing early, everything else becomes easier, because once you've done something challenging, the rest of your day feels lighter by comparison. Your brain recognizes the pattern. We did something hard. We didn't die. We didn't collapse. We didn't run. We can handle more. This is how resilience is built, through repetition, not luck. Doing the hard thing first is not always possible, but when it is, it's one of the most powerful confidence-building strategies available. Step 3. Stay with the discomfort instead of escaping it. When things get uncomfortable, your brain activates old programs. Quit, run, hide, delay, distract, avoid. But discomfort is not danger. Discomfort is data. And if you stay with it for a few seconds, just a few seconds, you begin to see that nothing bad happens. Your heart beats, your breath shifts, your mind resists, but you overcome it. And in that moment, you're no longer the person who used to escape. You're becoming someone new, someone stronger, clearer, calmer, and more disciplined. The key is this: don't run from the feeling, observe it, let it rise, let it peak, let it pass. Discomfort is temporary, growth is permanent. Step 4. Celebrate the micro-victory. Not with rewards, not with indulgence, not with treats. Celebrate internally with acknowledgement. I did something difficult today. I followed through. I kept my word to myself. This small recognition releases dopamine in a meaningful way. Not from distraction, but from discipline. You want your brain to associate challenge with satisfaction, not stress. When discipline feels rewarding, your identity shifts. You begin to see yourself as someone who overcomes instead of avoids. And that identity is far more powerful than motivation. Step 5. Track it. A simple list, a small journal, a notes app, a single line every day. Hard thing of the day. Tracking builds momentum. Momentum builds consistency. Consistency builds identity. This is not about checking boxes. It's about showing your brain every day we are becoming someone new. Why? This habit rewires your mindset. Because discomfort is the teacher, and you can't learn strength without feeling its pressure. Every hard thing you do expands your discomfort tolerance, shrinks your fear response, makes obstacles seem smaller, builds psychological stability, strengthens your sense of control, trains your mind to push through emotional friction, helps you adapt instead of collapse. You stop seeing challenges as threats. You start seeing them as opportunities. You stop running from effort. You start walking toward growth. This is how warriors are built. This is how discipline is forged. This is how a mindset rewires itself from fragile to unbreakable. When you do one hard thing daily, you become someone dependable to yourself. And when you trust yourself to face discomfort, everything else in life becomes easier. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who doesn't break at the first sign of pressure. Someone who stands tall when others shrink. Someone who doesn't fear challenge. Someone who doesn't negotiate with their excuses. Someone who doesn't retreat when things get uncomfortable. Someone who takes action when others hesitate. Someone whose strength is not loud but steady. Someone who grows daily. Not by chance but by choice. Your resilience becomes your identity. Your discipline becomes your baseline. Your courage becomes your normal. And slowly, quietly, consistently you become a different person. Stronger, sharper, more grounded, more capable, more unstoppable. Discomfort is your gym. Say it when you hesitate. Say it when you want to quit. Say it when you need strength. Discomfort is your gym. Every repetition makes you stronger. Now that you've learned to do one hard thing daily, to meet discomfort, to choose challenge, to build resilience, it's time to shift into a habit that transforms how you show up in the world. You've built strength. Now it's time to build integrity. Chapter 4 is about finishing what you start and why completion rewires your confidence at the deepest level. Chapter 4. Finish what you start. There is a quiet kind of power that only appears when you finish what you start. A power that doesn't make noise, doesn't demand attention, doesn't brag, but reshapes your entire identity from the inside out. Because finishing is not about the task. Finishing is about the person you become when you refuse to abandon your commitments. Most people live in a world of half. Built bridges, half read books, half cleaned rooms, half written plans, half hearted efforts, half finished dreams. They start with excitement, but they never follow through. They begin with motivation, but they never stay long enough to grow discipline. They begin with desire, but they never complete the process long enough to see results. And over time, they train their brains to accept unfinished things as normal. This is the real pain. Every time you quit on something small, you reinforce the belief that you can't be trusted with something big. You weaken your self-image. You weaken your discipline. You weaken your momentum. You weaken your confidence. Because confidence is not born from achievement. Confidence is born from completion. When you finish, you prove something to yourself. I keep my word. I follow through. I can rely on myself. I don't stop when it gets boring. I don't collapse when it gets uncomfortable. This is the identity shift most people never experience because they quit too soon, too often, too easily. But you're here because you're rewiring your mindset, and rewiring requires completion. Rewiring requires closure. Rewiring requires the discipline to push something across the finish line. Not perfectly, but intentionally. Before we talk about how to build this habit, we need to acknowledge the painful truth. Starting feels good. Finishing feels uncomfortable. Starting is exciting. Starting is dopamine. Starting is novelty. Starting is fantasy. Finishing is different. Finishing is slow. Finishing is repetitive. Finishing is unglamorous. Finishing is disciplined. Finishing requires discomfort tolerance. This is why most people abandon their goals. They only know how to enjoy beginnings, not how to commit to endings. But if you want to rewire your mindset, you must change your relationship with finishing. Because finishing is not talent, it's training. And the more you train it, the more unstoppable you become. Let's break this habit into a practical system you can implement every day. Step 1. Choose one unfinished task and complete it today. Not 10, not 5, not even 3, just one. You already know which one. The email you haven't sent, the message you haven't replied to, the closet you haven't organized, the work project you left hanging, the book you abandoned at chapter 4, the small task that drains your mental energy every time you remember it. Completing one unfinished thing doesn't just remove clutter, it removes cognitive weight. It frees mental space. It gives your brain a sense of closure. It builds the identity of someone who finishes. Today you finish one thing, tomorrow you finish another. Slowly your life becomes a series of completions instead of abandoned attempts. Step 2. Create a finish list, not a to-do list. To-do lists grow endlessly. Finish lists create momentum. A finish list has only 3 rules. 1. Choose tasks you will complete today. 2. No adding after you begin. 3. Every item must be finished before the day ends. This is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters fully. Your brain thrives on clarity. Your mind thrives on completion. Your discipline thrives on boundaries. When you limit your commitments, you increase your follow-through. Step 3. Break the task into its smallest executable action. Finishing becomes easier when the task becomes smaller. You don't finish a project, you finish the first 5 minutes. You don't clean the whole room, you clean the desk. You don't read a whole book, you read 2 pages. You don't complete a habit, you take the first step. Small actions create big momentum. Small wins create big confidence. Small steps create strong identity. Your brain doesn't need the whole staircase. It just needs the next step. Step 4. Remove escape routes. The reason people quit is not lack of ability. It's the abundance of distractions that offer emotional escape. You get bored, you grab your phone, you get stuck, you scroll, you get tired, you switch tasks, you get uncomfortable, you avoid. Finishing requires closing the exits. One tab, one task, one focus, one direction. When you limit your options, your commitment becomes stronger. When you limit your distractions, your clarity becomes sharper. Your environment should support your follow-through, not sabotage it. Step 5. Stop negotiating with your mind. Your mind will always offer you a way out. That's enough for today. You can do it tomorrow. This doesn't really matter. You're tired. You've done enough. But discipline begins when negotiation ends. Finishing requires one simple internal command. We're not done yet, not with anger, not with pressure, not with punishment, just a calm, steady, clear decision. The moment you stop negotiating, you start leading. Why? This habit rewires your mindset. Because finishing is identity. Every completion sends a message to your brain. I am the kind of person who follows through. Every time you finish, you strengthen the circuits responsible for discipline, focus, resilience, and self-trust. Your mind becomes wired for closure instead of drift. Decisions become easier. Commitments feel lighter. Tasks feel more manageable. You stop feeling overwhelmed. You stop procrastinating as often. You stop doubting yourself. You stop hiding behind excuses. Finishing teaches your brain that you're capable of more than you think. Not through hype, but through evidence. Momentum grows from completion. Confidence grows from completion. Identity grows from completion. And identity is what rewires mindset at the deepest level. When your brain believes you keep your promises, your entire life begins to shift. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who can be counted on. Someone who respects their time. Someone who respects their commitments. Someone who doesn't disappear halfway through the process. Someone who builds trust with themselves. Someone who finishes not because it's easy, but because it's who they are. Finishing becomes your signature. Completion becomes your normal. Follow-through becomes your foundation. When you finish what you start, you step into a version of yourself that is powerful, disciplined, reliable, and grounded. And that version of you will take you further than motivation ever will. Finish what you start. Say it early. Say it often. Say it when you hesitate. Say it when you want to quit. Say it until your actions match your identity. Finish what you start. Finish what you start. Finish what you start. Now that you've learned the power of finishing, the discipline, the identity shift, the rewiring of self-trust, it's time to confront another habit that silently shapes your mindset every day. A habit that determines whether you grow or stagnate. A habit that decides whether your mind expands or shrinks. In Chapter 5, you will discover why consuming less and creating more is the key to reclaiming mental energy, purpose, and clarity. Chapter 5. Consume less, create more. Your mind becomes what you feed it. Your shorter identity becomes what you practice. Your life becomes what you choose to build. And this is why the habit of consuming less and creating more is one of the most powerful levers for rewiring your mindset, because your brain is not just shaped by what you think. It is shaped by what you do, what you express, and what you produce. Most people spend their lives consuming. They consume information, entertainment, opinions, noise, distractions, trends, updates, stories, and drama. They consume far more than their mind can process and far more than their lives can benefit from. And slowly, without noticing, they slip into mental overload. Information becomes clutter. Inspiration becomes comparison. Entertainment becomes escape. Consumption becomes addiction. And the saddest part, the more people consume, the less they create, the less they express, the less they build, the less they grow. This is the pain. You cannot think clearly when you drown your mind in noise. You cannot find direction when you bury yourself under endless input. You cannot feel confident when you constantly compare your life to others. You cannot build discipline when your mind is overstimulated and underutilized. People consume because consuming is easy. It requires nothing from you. No effort, no courage, no risk. You scroll, you watch, you read, you comment, you drift. You disappear into other people's creativity instead of using your own. But here is the truth you must face if you want to rewire your mindset. Creation rewires your brain. Consumption numbs it. When you create even something small, you activate energy, focus, intention, identity, confidence, and clarity. When you create, you step into a life where you are the producer, not the spectator. When you create, you are using your mind to generate value instead of absorbing noise. You don't need to be an artist. You don't need to be a writer. You don't need to be a filmmaker, musician, designer, or inventor. Creation simply means producing something that moves your life forward instead of letting your life fade into someone else's feed. Creating can be writing one paragraph, recording one idea, building one step of a project, solving one problem, improving one skill, organizing one space, planning one goal, learning one technique, making something slightly better than yesterday. Creation is progress. Consumption is pause. And progress, even tiny progress, rewires your brain faster than any amount of passive information ever will. Let's break this habit into a practical framework you can apply every single day. Step 1. Set a daily consumption limit. Don't eliminate consumption. Refine it. You still need inspiration. You still need information. You still need entertainment, but you do not need hours of it. You do not need constant stimulation. You do not need a stream of content overwhelming your nervous system. Give yourself a limit. 30 minutes of intentional consumption, not autopilot, not doom scrolling, not algorithm chasing, intentional input only. Your mind needs space to breathe. Your ideas need room to grow. Your creativity needs silence. Set the limit and honor it. Step 2. Replace one consumption block with one creation block. If you scroll for 20 minutes, convert 20 minutes into creation. If you binge for an hour, convert an hour into creation. If you drift on social media, redirect that time into building something that matters. Creation doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be yours. Here is your shift. Every time you catch yourself consuming mindlessly, ask, what can I create instead? Write something, build something, organize something, plan something, practice something, express something. Every moment of creation strengthens your mindset. Every moment of consumption weakens it unless it serves your growth. Step 3. Keep your creation small, simple, and sustainable. Most people don't create because they expect too much from themselves. They think creation must be meaningful, revolutionary, perfect, or high quality. That pressure kills action. Your creations can be tiny. A one-sentence journal entry, a rough sketch, a short voice note, a simple solution, a cleaned drawer, a micro step of a project, a single insight captured, one paragraph written. Small creation builds large identity. Start small, repeat often. Let consistency build greatness. Step 4. Reduce digital noise. Increase real-world engagement. Most consumption is digital. Most distraction is digital. Most comparison is digital. Most emotional exhaustion comes from digital overload, but creation is often physical. A clean room, a planned day, a handwritten idea, a walk that clears your thinking. A conversation that improves your understanding. A project that gets one step closer to completion. You rewire your brain when you engage with the real world instead of escaping into the digital world. Cut the noise. Create space. Let silence return. Let clarity rise. Step 5. Celebrate effort, not outcome. Creation is a habit, not a performance. You don't need your creation to be impressive. You don't need it to be perfect. You don't need anyone to validate it. You only need to show up. Celebrate effort. I built something today. I contributed something today. I grew today. I acted today. I chose intention today. Every time you celebrate effort, you reinforce the identity of a creator, someone who engages with their life instead of drifting through it. Effort rewires your mindset more than results ever will. Why this habit rewires your mindset? Because creation is active, consumption is passive, and your brain changes more when you act than when you observe. Creating shifts you into forward motion. It strengthens your neural pathways for discipline. It builds cognitive confidence. It reduces anxiety by giving your mind direction. It reduces comparison by anchoring you in your own progress. It creates pride, momentum, clarity, and purpose. Creation transforms you because it forces your brain to organize thoughts, solve problems, and express ideas, all of which stimulate growth. Consumption, when unchecked, does the opposite. It floods your brain without giving it space to process. It overstimulates your dopamine system. It weakens your ability to focus. It discourages you through comparison. It turns your mind into a warehouse instead of a workshop. If you want to feel better, think better, act better, and grow faster, creation must become a core part of your daily life. Identity shift. Who you become with this habit. You become someone who produces instead of drifts. Someone who builds instead of watches. Someone who contributes instead of hides. Someone who creates clarity instead of seeking escape. Someone who uses their mind intentionally instead of passively. Someone who shapes their world instead of consuming someone else's. Someone who grows daily, not by accident, but by choice. Creation strengthens identity. Identity strengthens discipline. Discipline strengthens mindset. This is how you rewire yourself from the inside out. Build, don't browse. Say it when you open your phone. Say it when you reach for distraction. Say it when you feel stuck. Say it when you need momentum. Build. Don't browse. One action at a time. Now that you understand how consumption drains your energy and creation fuels your growth, it's time for a habit that unlocks one of the most powerful shifts in your mindset. The relationship between your body and your mind. In Chapter 6, we dive into the habit that recharges your energy, boosts your clarity, stabilizes your mood, and sharpens your thinking, all through something incredibly simple. Move your body daily. Chapter 6. Move your body daily. Your body is not separate from your mind. Your thoughts, your emotions, your focus, your discipline, your clarity, they are all deeply connected to the state of your physical energy. You cannot build a strong mindset with a weak body. You cannot create mental clarity when your nervous system is stagnant. You cannot expect emotional stability when your physiology is depleted. Movement is not just exercise. Movement is mental rewiring. Every time you move your body, you send a powerful signal to your brain. We're alive. We're capable. We're in motion. We choose growth. Movement wakes up the mind. Movement sharpens focus. Movement stabilizes mood. Movement strengthens discipline. Movement builds momentum. And yet most people treat movement as optional. They wait for motivation. They wait for the right time. They wait for energy. They wait for a perfect routine. And because they wait, they never move. And because they never move, their mind slowly loses its sharpness, clarity, and confidence. Let's begin with the pain. Because you felt it, and you know it well. Most people live inside a body that feels heavy, tired, tense, tight, sluggish, or unfocused. They wake up groggy. They sit for hours. They are surrounded by stimulation, but deprived of natural energy. Their mind wants to work, but their body isn't supporting it. Their brain wants clarity, but their physiology creates fog. Their emotions want balance, but their nervous system is underpowered. This is the pain. When your body doesn't move, your mind cannot move either. You think slower, you react faster. You get irritated more easily. You lack emotional tolerance. You feel overwhelmed sooner. You get stuck in loops of overthinking. You lose the spark that makes life feel vivid and alive. The biggest misconception people have about movement is thinking it's optional, something you do only when you have time, energy, or motivation. But if your goal is to rewire your mindset, movement is not optional. Movement is medicine. Movement is fuel. Movement is clarity. Here is the truth most people never realize. Energy is not something you wait for. Energy is something you create. You don't need to push your body to extremes. You don't need long workouts or heavy training. You don't need access to a gym or equipment. You don't need an athletic background. You only need consistent movement, daily movement, intentional movement. Because when your body moves, your brain fires. When your heart rate rises, your mind activates. When your muscles engage, your thoughts sharpen. When your circulation increases, your emotions stabilize. This is not motivation. This is biology. Let's break this habit into simple, practical steps that anyone can follow. Step 1. Start with a 5-minute rule. Most people fail at fitness routines because they set unrealistic expectations. They attempt to start too big, too fast, too intensely, and then quit. The key is not intensity. The key is repetition. Make it nearly impossible to fail. 5 minutes. That's it. Walk for 5 minutes. Stretch for 5 minutes. Do light exercises for 5 minutes. Move your body in any simple way for 5 minutes. Consistency before intensity. Identity before achievement. These 5 minutes are not about fitness. They're about rewiring your brain to expect movement, not resistance. Step 2. Choose a type of movement that feels natural. Movement should match your lifestyle, your personality, your environment, and your current level of fitness. Don't copy routines that don't fit your life. Here are options that require no equipment and no special skills. A brisk walk, light stretching, mobility exercises, dancing, body weight training, yoga, simple flow movements, climbing stairs, morning activation routines, short posture resets throughout the day. The best movement is the one you can do every day, not the one that looks impressive for a week. Choose a movement that feels good. Choose a movement that feels doable. Choose a movement that fits your life. When movement feels natural, consistency becomes effortless. Step 3. Move early to set your mental tone. Your morning is the most powerful moment for movement. Not because morning workouts burn more calories, but because they prime your brain for the entire day. Movement in the morning wakes up your nervous system, clears mental fog,